I'm meteorologist Nicholas Herboso on this Thursday edition of Next Weather. What we're doing, we're looking back at a few of the interesting events that we've had in our night sky this week, including lunar eclipse and a SpaceX launch that created an incredible cloud. We're going to start talking about the lunar eclipse. This was the first event that we had this week of many, and this one was a typical full total lunar eclipse. They are somewhat rare, but they're really cool when they happen, and whenever you get to see one, it creates a really interesting picture in the sky. This one was a very unique one because it happened pretty low in the sky and pretty low on the horizon. That's because this lunar eclipse happened at 5:30 in the morning. That's when the peak was. It started at 2 a.m., but 5:33 in the morning was the maximum eclipse in Mobile. A couple of notes about a lunar eclipse. Again, the event unfolds over several hours. The total eclipse phase lasting about an hour, and you can see that there in the red part. But here locally, the time again was the peak around 5:33 in the morning, and we had some great photos submitted of this, and we thank you so much for submitting your photos. I want to take a look at a few of those now. This is Lisa Harris sending this in from Mobile. You notice that some locations did have some cloud cover. This was kind of where it was still at a partial, and you can see the red spot over the moon with the bottom half of the moon there lit up a bit more. Still a very cool sight. Even a partial lunar eclipse can be really cool, but of course this one was a total. Really awesome views there. Another view sent in on our Fox 10 weather app from Scott Bailey. This is down at Dauphin Island, and this was the really cool benefit of this event. It was low in the sky, so the moon appeared a little larger relative to what it would typically appear, just because of how the moon looks whenever it gets close to the horizon. So a really awesome view here from Scott Bailey. Again, you can see this is after the total eclipse peaked in the morning, and you can see, or near when the total eclipse peaked in the morning, and you can see kind of the lightness of the sky and also the reddish color of the moon. That reddish color of the moon happens as sunlight filters through Earth's atmosphere. It gets bent and scattered, giving the moon that reddish glow. And remember, a total lunar eclipse, the Earth moves between the sun and the moon, casting a shadow that slowly covers the moon. So that's what happened there. A really, really awesome event. Then something, what some might say even crazier, happened as we got to our Wednesday morning. This was absolutely awesome. So a SpaceX launch happened Wednesday morning out of Cape Canaveral. The launch occurred at 5:52 Eastern Time, so 4:52 Central, carrying 29 Starlink satellites into orbit. And as this launch happened off Cape Canaveral, the vapor trail behind the rocket created this incredible cloud in the sky. And because we were right before sunrise, something awesome happened. The sunlight that had not yet hit our part of Earth was shooting up in the sky around the curvature of the Earth and illuminating the cloud. It's called a noctilucent cloud, or visible at night cloud, I guess is some way you could translate that to. The colors and what this cloud looks like in the sky, it is a bucket list item to see. And a lot of times when we get a SpaceX launch from Cape Canaveral in the early morning before the sun rises, this happens and you can see it. And it is incredible. So Nubia sent this photo in, or video in, from Gulf Breeze. Here's her photo as well. A little later on, a little bit more light in the sky. You can see now almost the oranges that you would see during a typical sunrise in that cloud. It's just so cool. People thought it was an alien invasion. It's just the wildest looking thing. This is a view from Foley. A couple of notes, there's some really interesting pieces of this cloud, including the circle that you see on the right side. A lot of people commented on that. And then the spreading out of the water vapor in the upper atmosphere, creating this kind of milky look on the left side of your screen. Christine sent this in from Foley. Here's a look at that kind of hook or circle that was in the sky. Shirley sent this in from Foley. Again, the view was so cool. This was very early on as the launch was early and happening. it creates this kind of bubbling jellyfish look there. Billy Anderson from Gulf Shores, the place to be to see that. I know a lot of people that when this happened, it was a shocking event. You really don't expect this, but if you knew that a Falcon 9 rocket was launching from Cape Canaveral, you can sometimes see these things. And we do encourage you that keep an eye on when those SpaceX launches are happening. Of course, we try to keep an eye on when those launches happen. As that rocket goes up, the water vapor plume of the condensation trail behind the rocket, all that spreads out and the sunlight hits it high in the atmosphere. That's what creates that amazing jellyfish in the sky effect. We'll mention after the launch, the Falcon 9 booster safely landed on a drone ship in the Atlantic Ocean. A cool process to watch there. Launches from Lake Cape Canaveral that happen before sunrise on clear mornings can be seen here on the Gulf Coast. So if you're watching after a launch, look low towards the eastern sky, especially for our northwest Florida counties, folks in Baldwin County. You can sometimes see this after a launch. And one more sky watching note. We love it when you send in your photos on the Fox 10 Weather app. They let us see what is going on. And an amazing thing when we have these events in the sky, night sky, and you send in your photos, because we can send them in on the Fox 10 Weather app and show them on air. I will say to be on the lookout later on. This weekend, Venus and Saturn will appear very close together in the evening sky. That'll be during the first week of March, the 6th and 7th, around that time. The two planets will be closest on the evenings of March 7th and 8th, so be on the look for them low in the western sky shortly after sunset in the bright twilight. After that, Saturn will soon disappear into the sun's glare and slip out of the evening sky. But we want you to send those photos in of whatever you're seeing in the sky on the Fox 10 Weather app. We love when you get those photos because we can do full segments on them like this, showcasing what you have seen. I'm meteorologist Nicholas Herboso.